Nathan, you've come on today to talk about what's happening on Saturday.
Yeah, well, Martin too. I mean, it's myself, Martin, and Patricia that have organised this together.
Martin.
But Patricia's winging away to Amsterdam as we speak, and then she's going to hop on another flight to Birmingham, and I'll pick her up at about 8:30 tomorrow morning, take her to her hotel, and then Saturday we'll all meet up at about midday. I don't know whether or not there'll be a whole crowd of people there waiting at midday, or if it'll just be me. I have no idea, but I think by about there'll be a whole bunch of people there, going by the amount of people.
Well, I counted 30 this week. This week in the last 6 days. I counted them up this morning. 30 people have contacted me saying they're going. That's just me. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. I thought there was quite a few, and I counted them up. I was just curious. I thought, how many is that? This is every day, 4 or 5. So I counted them up. It's 30 in the last week. So there's going to be a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, for the event that you went to, Karen, it was a paid event. Obviously, we had to pay to get into the Space Centre. And there were still 10 people that turned up. It was miserable weather. It wasn't a nice, it wasn't a jolly event. It was going to the Space Centre, to look at fakery. But we still got 10 people. When we did the Oxford meet, we got 30, I think it was 30 plus people that went, maybe a few more that didn't actually announce themselves as being there. They were sat on the fringes. I expect that to happen as well. That'll be the bit that I'll be looking for. Should I say this?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get that.
That won't necessarily join us, that will be on the periphery. They'll know why they're there and they'll have come specifically, but they won't necessarily join in, and you'll notice them if you go. You'll see them sat on the periphery looking in. It'll be interesting.
I have to say, Nathan, you look very excited.
I am very.
Don't mind.
Martin, are you excited?
I'm actually going to levitate any second, guys. If I get this vibration any higher.
It's most similar to the Oxford meet, and in my humble opinion, obviously it's my town, the location is much, much better. There's not going to be a huge amount of walking if you come on the train or if you park or whatever. It's a very small town, unlike Oxford, where we ended up walking for about 20 minutes. And don't get me wrong, I loved Oxford. It's a lovely town to walk through, useful for making video logs while I was walking. But by the same token, it wasn't ideal. It was nice to see Oxford, but there was a lot of walking involved. And when we got to the actual spot that we had the picnic, it wasn't the best spot. It was by the river. By comparison, Leamington's absolutely beautiful. I don't want to build it up too much, but it's a very, very nice place to be. And Anthony Riley was saying, well, what happens if it rains? Because he's coming down with his wife and their dogs. I said, well, it's ideal because it's where the river is. The opposite side of the road to the park is a pub that's on the river, and it's got a canopy, and you could probably 100 people on the river, technically outside, even if it was pouring with rain. I think that pub's called the Robin's Well. So should you arrive and it's raining, the chances are we will be in the Robin's Well under that canopy overlooking the river, doing exactly the same thing, but just not in the sunshine in the park. So in other words, there's options. So yeah, I am excited. It's going to be good.
Because Patricia's coming over as well, because she's a friend of yours, isn't she?
Yeah.
So I've got a friend. I'm sure Martin would too.
Yeah, we're close friends. We're a group of friends, so we're all quite close, and it's a joy when we all meet up. So I can't wait. It's really exciting to be all out.
Say hallelujah, the community happening. Hallelujah.
It's interesting you say that, Karen, because Anthony Riley's partner was explaining to her that he was going to come down to Leamington for the meet, and she's like, oh right, okay, fine, I'll look after the dogs. And then he mentioned in passing that Patricia was going, and she pricked her ears up. Oh, Patricia's really nice, isn't she? Oh, maybe I will go. Should we take the dogs with us?
Fair enough. Oh dear. Yeah, it'd be an awesome weekend anyway. Loads happening, loads going on. Really exciting times in the Flat Earth community, no doubt about it. Don't you think?
Should really plug the
Billy
time.
Boy on the end?
Yes.
I'll say it.
Eric. Eric's joined us. Eric lives in France. Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hi, panel. How's everybody doing?
Bonjour.
No, he's actually a Canadian.
Yeah.
Can I just plug the time and all the rest of it once more, Karen? Just so it's in one section. So it's midday, Jefferson Garden, Royal Leamington Spa on Saturday the 22nd, 2 days from now.
Saturday 22nd.
Yay.
That's awesome.
And
guys.
hopefully some of the people in the chat room are coming.
I'll have a look. Well, while you say hello to Eric. Hello, Eric, by the way.
There are a few in chat. Marilyn Wilkesby's in chat. She's going. Flat Earth Dave's going because he's picking me up outside Newport Station. So bloody well hope so. So there's a few going in chat.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
He mentioned that already, so.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know. Safe. Nice one, Dave. Awesome.
It's brilliant. And also, just to say, because Gary's here as well, you two are speakers at the conference, at the Flat Earth conference.
Indeed. Very excited.
Is Gary there? Gary?
Yeah, hiya.
Hey, Gary.
Martin.
Hey,
Hi,
Gary.
mate. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone on Saturday.
There's going to be a lot of people coming in here, believe you me. You don't know which way to turn.
I'm pleased though, because we obviously want to move this on, and you've obviously had a couple of meets before, Nathan, and every time it can just be progressive. Then that's really what we're after, isn't it? Really.
It is moving on. I can just tell that there's a whole new bunch of people come into the movement just lately. I think it's another wave. It sort of goes quiet for a bit, and then they come in another wave. And this is phase 4. I think I've worked out. I was early phase 2. It's phase 4 now, and this is a bigger phase of awakening, because my every one of these new people that come to my channel, and probably other people's channels who I'm talking to, they are really enthusiastic. I love the passion on them all, and it's slightly different as well from when we all woke up 2 years back, because it's more credibility as well. Now we got our own history, which we've actually got our own traditions. We created our own flat earth culture, and we have as well. And it's moving on. It's developed, and people are getting how flipping cool this is, and now it attracts people to it as well, the arena. So people are working it out, and as we get bigger online, I'm trying to encourage people to have live hangouts, because I had a theory that if everyone had a live hangout and attracted loads of people to their live hangout stream, their comment stream, and that was full, we take over the internet.
Hey, Martin, do me a favor. When you're having a pint, do a
I don't
toast
drink.
to people. Okay, well, do a toast with soda, and
Don't drink soda.
just remember the people that want to be there that couldn't attend but were there in spirit. So cheering you on.
Yeah. We've got a few of them.
So,
Zoe said
yeah.
that last night. She would be there in spirit because she's in Denmark.
There you go.
So we'll carry up a few people in spirit with us.
I'll be there in spirit too. So hopefully you guys take a lot of pictures.
Billy, are you saying it's going to rain? Are you saying it's going to rain, Billy? So we're in the pub.
It's going to be torrential tomorrow, but I don't know about Saturday, but I won't worry about that. But look, Billy, if I see any sort of Wi-Fi connection, I will crank up instantly, and I will say hiya specifically to you.
Okay. Thanks, Martin. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I love you, Billy.
I
really
love you
pleased
too,
that-
buddy.
Because with Gary there, it means that people can actually address a few questions about the 2018 conference. So the type of people who are going to travel to Leamington on Saturday are definitely going to be the same kind of people that travel to the conference and buy the tickets. So I'm in no doubt that you'll be, accosted at some point, Gary, and you'll get questions fired at you. So, but that's good.
Yeah, I must admit, I mean, from my point of view, if people want to turn up and talk to me about anything about the conference, then I just feel honoured to be in a position to do it, really, because I just feel that I want to do my best for everyone, and I think it's going to be amazing on lots of fronts, really.
Gary, I can feel because of this other conference and with the involvement with Robbie and that, I feel that how big that's going to be. I posted on my channel this morning. I got a link yesterday. It was in the Charlotte Observer newspaper, and it wasn't in a negative context either. It was, it was quite balanced and a good little writer. So I'm thinking, and as it gets closer to the date, and this is on the tail end of that conference, so it'll be, the enthusiasm will still be there. I think it's going to be an absolute, a sensation, a huge success. I really do believe so. In fact, I know it will be.
One thing I would like to add, Martin, is that when I was looking at, when Karen and I had a chat with somebody in Holland about potential dates, and he suggested that we just have to choose a date, which, to be fair, it's changed by about a month. I was trying to centre it around One, it couldn't be anything in November because obviously what's happening in America. Christmas is ridiculous in January because people haven't got the money, or it's not easy, and then you think, well, we might as well try and make it in March or April. So everything was.
When does Easter fall on this year?
Sorry?
Next year. I was wondering when Easter falls on next year, because sometime last year it was end of April, wasn't it?
End of March.
March, is it? Oh, fair enough. Cool.
Yeah, I looked it up because I was actually toying with the idea of maybe even doing it at the end of March for the bank holiday. But what you got to bear in mind is you got 2 people in Europe and you got 2 people from America flying in. You're going to have a premium cost, so I couldn't entertain it.
No, man, not on a holiday season as well.
But everything I've done, I've hopefully thought through long and hard, and there's reasons for everything. I will change things. I will make things better, I'd like to think, but everything's for a reason.
Cool. Right, it's going to have to be critiqued. Yeah, it's doing an excellent job. Really into it. It's so cool. Thanks, Gary, for the effort, really.
And to have people like yourself there, and I know Nathan's aiming to go, and Karen, and half the people on this panel, and a lot of people in like having like Mark and John Morgile, and a few people like Oliver, Mike Kavanagh, and all the people in the country like Dell. I mean, to have Dell there is, oh my. So many people are excited to have him there because he is incredible with what he does on his interviews. Every single person I know that struggles to talk to somebody about flat Earth just shows him Dell's video. I mean, everyone, Darren and allegedly Dave and yourself do fantastic jobs, but I just feel that we all can use Dell's work easily, and it's just brilliant. And to have him at the conference is just, I just love that fact.
You want to hear him play guitar? You've never heard nothing like it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing is, to begin with, he was only coming because of the guitar work, but I've managed to, learn a little bit more about him. So that's tongue in cheek.
Ha ha.
Cool,
your jokes tonight. Oh, just to let Nathan and Martin know, it's Ceres' birthday today.
Oh, you share my mother's birthday series. Happy birthday, boy,
Mum's birthday today as well.
Yeah, my mother's as well. Same day. Happy birthday, Cancerian. Cool.
No time zone weirdness either. We're definitely on the same day, aren't we? We're all on the same day, pretty much, apart from
Billy.
States. Are you in the States? Rest.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in the States.
Okay.
Anyway, I've met you two before at that space center, and to Alan, because you two went running around with your computer, with your laptop, wee, around the space center.
I'm going to leave that opportunity, definitely. Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah,
the whole thing. I nicked it. I put it on mine as well. But Martin's got the original live stream from the Space Center, and then I was a bit more fastidious and took my time and edited together a very short video, which ended up being about 10 or 15 minutes long. But yeah, so there's a couple of videos that are out there about the Space Center. I was a bit gutted that the videos didn't get a huge amount of attention, but I really enjoyed that meetup. That was excellent.
Yeah, so did I. Oh, that was brilliant. I absolutely loved it in there. I never thought I'd get to see, things like Sputnik, or a bit of pretending moon rock also.
The thing that got me the most at the Space Center was the duping delight that they had with the weather. Did you see that, Karen?
Yeah, right in your face.
They had basically blue screen, green screen, whatever you call it, chroma key technology, and the way they framed it was with the weather. And so you walked into this booth, you put a little token in, and then you did a weather broadcast, and it gave you a little DVD or whatever at the end of it of your weather broadcast. But when you're doing the broadcast, there's nothing behind you. It's just a chroma key, and then the people who are watching you make it can actually watch it with the weather behind, like the weatherman. And it's just a kick in the teeth to people like you and I, because it's saying this is how we fake it, this is how we do it.
They also had a little section of Mars,
no one gets too wise to it. If they showed you a space video on that, obviously everyone would get wise immediately, but somebody somewhere is having a right chuckle.
Mad, people can't put two and two together and think, wow, if they can do it with that, they can do it with space faking. But they wouldn't be thinking that way, would they, really?
I thought it was
they've done the same thing with the.
he was sitting in the ISS bit.
Yeah.
And there was,
Oh, it was rubbish.
all it was just for about an age of a 3-year-old to pull something out and let it go. A button.
No, it's just like a can thing.
Martin. We saw the ISS and it was like, this is all you need, Martin. You know, this is all you need. We could have a bit of green screen behind this, and then we'd have an ISS.
You would. Bit of that.
In that simulation thing when you went off and it was bouncing you around in the chair and that. Did you go in that one? You had to queue up for it.
No.
We saw all the kids totally pure indoctrination at its finest, wasn't it? And again, slight Jupiter's delight.
They're all in love with space. And you were in a lift and the mum goes, look at that rocket. And she said, isn't it great? And you went, well, something like, I suppose so, or not really. Or something like that. It's just like
a little girl in the lift losing it.
It's a romantic thing.
It's not though. It's absolute rubbish. They had little tiny thin bits of wire coupling the sections on, and then when the rockets we were looking at were a Thor and a Bluebird, from the British space program. And then when you dig into the British space program, there's one bit of footage out there, 45-minute long, nothing else on the internet, and it's faked. So it probably didn't happen anyway. And it's only Jubilee clipped together. And then when you see the launch,
held together with zip ties and dreams, isn't it? You can see through the cracks. It's
you can see through the cracks.
Joke. It's like an Italian sports car. Ridiculous. Zip ties and dreams.
Yeah, a Voltberg. Word. Terrible. And the Soyuz was pretty much the same. I can't imagine anything organic surviving in that thing. Nothing's got them.
Can I say something? I don't know if you remember where you came in. They had replica module thingies of the down, and all it was is they'd taken a cockpit out of a plane, and it was about an inch thick, animals right next to their faces. So if they'd come through that re-entry, it would have burnt them to death. It's a cockpit of a plane.
Yeah, just from the metallurgical point of view, I mean, nothing made of aluminum can make it past 650 degrees Celsius. I mean, there's no way. There's, not even to get to the flash point of aluminum oxide fuels, right? It's 80 clicks is about the max that anything's ever gone anywhere, right? At the most. Right? After that, it's just too hot. It goes too hot. It's amazing. The dupery, I guess, is what
were we looking at? We were looking at a bunch of plastic.
Yeah.
Where in the space center? No, it was all rubbish. It was absolute rubbish. Nothing's going up there. Nothing. I wanted to go to a space center to solidify the fact that it's all rubbish and nothing's going up there. And when you go there, you realise everything is just botchy and rubbish. You look at the lunar lander from the apparent space, the moon landings. It's got gaffer tape on it, and they got gold silver foil covering the entire substructure, and it's something that's millimeters thin on the inside of that. Apparently, you can put your foot through it with apparently a vacuum outside. And as you said, the dust they were supposed to kick up, nothing, not a speck on it. And the gold foil is fastened with sticky tape. Normal Scotch tape on the moon. It couldn't be more crap.
Remember the gravity they had at the Space Centre?
Yeah, the Cavendish cans.
Baked bean tins on a plastic display centre. It's like you pick up this bean can and it's the weight of the bean can on the sun. You pick up this bean can, it's the weight of the bean can on Jupiter, and so on. You're like, that's their proof of gravity. That was the only thing in there. That was it. That was their proof.
No, they don't do science in there per se. They're God science. Science rocks. You had adults saying, "I can't believe, son, the Russians went up in that." I know, Dad. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, some of the stuff people were saying there was comical, wasn't it? You can hear, but that was the thing. You could actually hear that people were processing their way through cognitive dissonance while they were looking. Yes. It was amazing.
Trying to process it. The awe of how could that be? It's seemingly impossible. That's right. Go with your instinct. It is impossible. They lie to themselves. It's crazy. Rather than believe that someone would lie to them. Oh, biggie. Anyway,
I had a chance.
Yeah.
I had a chance to get out to a presentation in Venice, and it had all these space things. And supposedly, one of the they had changed the panels on Hubble at one point, the solar panels or something, and they had the old panels down in on. You could go up and look at them.
okay.
And then one of the guys came over, and he's pointing at these little, kind of like someone took a little hammer or something and
No, they said a woodpecker, didn't they?
Yeah, little woodpecker holes.
Hmm.
And he's like, these are from meteorites, and that's when they went up and changed them. And it's trying not to roll my eyes too much, and but that's what they offer you. They're telling you millions of little mini meteorites are flying through this thing, but meanwhile you got the ISS uncompartmentalized bucket there floating around up there, no problem. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Sorry.
Not me.
It's crazy.
Too cheap, yeah.
The thing is, the more you get into this and the more you look, the more you actually can see it's fake.
Yeah, but what if
Every
you pull,
day.
Sorry, I was just saying, what if you pull somebody like all of that evidence of harnesses on the fake space? You can't deny the harnesses on the fake space station, can you? They're square. The jumpers are out like that, and they're walking funny because they've got a harness on. It's undeniable. And all of the augmented reality mess ups they've done in the last few months, the reflections of people, cameramen standing in the background, all of these, but people will ignore it. The wall comes up. No, that's not true. It's just a mistake. It's one of those things. They're really in space. I want to believe. Leave me alone. It's really weird. They will cancel out that. I tried it with my son as a test the other week.
Sorry to be disagreeable, but I think especially when we've got Jeremy in the chat, there's always an explanation. There's always, it might be complete farce and nonsense and we would just laugh at it, but by the same token, it is still there. There is generally always going to be an explanation for this stuff that someone like Gem Panda can present to you and say, I accept that explanation.
I know. It's crazy to me, to my mind. Not cast
Why
on
is it some of us see it and some of us don't see it then? Why is it when you try and tell someone and you can see, and you're nicely trying to tell someone and they really don't see it? None of them see it.
So no, I'm not just being awkward, yeah? It's like, there's the, look, in front of you, it's there. How can you explain away this? That augmented reality mess up a couple of weeks ago when the guy's passing stuff because he's got them them reacting implants in his eyes so that he can see it on the screen what he's pretending to hold. The same technology Tim Peake was using when he had that whatever he was juggling, a microphone, and he messed up they showed it up on the back of a screen when they were wheeling George Bush through in his wheelchair. We know about that, don't we? So they're using augmented reality, and there's been people with nothing in their hands, so they're caught out. It's managed to be caught on live feeds, and yet they've let it go out. So I'm like, well, why wouldn't they have edited that? Because it doesn't go live. None of them.
Sorry to interrupt you, but to answer your question, Karen, why don't people see it? Well, there's a very real physical explanation for this that I can give you with an example that was used by Penn and Teller. So Penn and Teller have a stage show, and they're on stage, and they've got a full live audience, thousands of people, and they're all watching the stage, and what's on stage is a suspended rectangular frame, say 12 foot wide by 9 foot high, and that's what you can see. So as you look at the stage, it just looks like an empty picture frame, that you can see straight through. Now what you've actually got, because then you cut to Penn and Teller and they explain what the magic trick is. They're standing on the inside of that frame, but front and back are two mirrors. And essentially, it's set up in such a way so it looks like you can see straight through it, but obviously it's mirrors, literally mirrors. And what Penn does is he sticks his hand outside of the frame, and his arm is completely exposed to the audience, and he waves, but nobody sees it, not a person, because nobody can process a disembodied arm floating in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't make sense. They can't cognitively process it. So by the same token, if you've got something like a glitch, an error, an anomaly, because we're called anomaly hunters by the globeheads, when you've got that kind of anomaly, to the guy on the street, to Joe Blogg's normal, it's the same as the arm sticking out of the frame at Penn and Teller. He's not going to process it because, as far as he's concerned, that's his reality. So something that's awry in his reality, it's just not going to get processed at all. In fact, it gets ignored. And that's the same as the arm.
When you actually think about it, why would anybody believe we were spinning? Why? When nothing is there that shows you we're spinning, yet we all believe, well, we did believe, we were spinning at these speeds.
I was watching James earlier, Flat Earth Addict, and he went on a corner in London with a big Flat Earth banner. He stood there live for about 3 hours. People came up to him and he started to interview him about the Flat Earth. He wasn't really in the mood. He thinks that the banner is enough. You know, he doesn't have to actually talk with them. But they were coming over and asked him, and he was outside the Google headquarters in Old Street in London. 3 boys come over and he said, "Could you tell us about the Flat Earth?" He said, "Yeah, do you work together?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "In there?" He said, "Yeah, they work for Google." They were really interested, and that was one of the issues that was brought up. Like, but do you know what? I think they were actually really thinking about it seriously and not just joking around. Another guy came over and said, "Look," he said, "Do you know they say we're going 1,000 miles an hour? They equate to 62,000 miles an hour around the sun and 250,000 miles around the Galactica. You realise this? Did they teach you this in school?" And he's like, "Well, we ain't moving. We don't feel like I'm moving." I said, "Precisely. Well, we're not." Oh, wow. See, the thing is, most of the people don't even understand the basics of a heliocentric model, and they did get taught properly. You know, in school, how often do you hear about Cavendish experiment in school, or Michelson and Morley? Because I never learnt about them in school. I learnt about it when I became a flat earther. Really? I did nothing in school. Einstein.
You're on fire, really, Karen, because that's an excellent question. Why would we think we're spinning? And the easy way to come up with an answer for that cognitive dissonance is to look at the globe head explanation for why wouldn't we be spinning? So they always just go, well, why would the sun come up and go down? I mean, you've got the perfect title in the group name. The sun and the moon are the reason people think they're spinning, because as far as they're concerned, they see them move overhead, and they're told, based on relativity, that from our position, that's the reason we're spinning. Look, we're moving, they're not. They're fixed, we're not. You know, it's arse about face. You know, I like it when the Christians tackle this subject, because it is inversion. It's kind of flipping reality on its head. It is kind of satanic, and that stuff does happen in our life. The fact that I don't believe it's real doesn't mean it doesn't happen, and other people think it is real. And it certainly seems to be the case with some of these Freemasonic lies, that they invert things. You know, they make up, down, and black, white, and you know, the sun stationary, when blatantly it isn't stationary. It's bloody moving. You can watch it. But no, that's not moving. We're moving. We're turning.
Yeah, but how did we believe that it was the other way round? This whole thing is just
could have started with the stars, yeah. Could have started with the stars. It could have started with the stars and long exposures, because when you look at if we're told if we're told that there are millions and gazillions of miles away and black holes and all this stuff, they're so far, and then you see one of these long exposures with luminaries in these circular patterns, you're not instantly, but you're prone to thinking that those things, you know, we're moving and they're so far away, and they're not, you know, they're moving at these small increments and stuff like that. Well, they're not, you know, they're moving, we're not. It's like a two-tier kind of, if you believe the stars are zillions of miles away, well, then we have to be moving. If you bring them closer, well, then they're moving, and then that breaks the whole paradigm, and then you know, just breaks down from there. That's how I kind of slopped into it.
Yeah, they've taken intangible objects in the sky and given us relativity and said, relative to your position, blah 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 blah. Yeah. You know, it's all based on the relativity lie.
Yeah. And like the Fred and Penner thing, I think it's called either front screen projection or back screen projection. Been working in cinema for like 6 years there, and I'm looking into Kubrick's work, and I mean that Cinerama front screen is I think it's in 1945 or something like that. That's when that first came out, where they used they projected one image on a glass plate, and then you could walk in front and have the image behind, like in 2001 with the scene with the monkeys there, the primates there. So that's a front screen trick that was used, and I think it was considered magic when it first came out. So
yeah, it was apparently the scene out of Doctor Strangelove that attracted the military to Kubrick. You know, the B-52 flying bit going through the valley, which wasn't there because that was all blue screen. And that was apparently the bit that impressed the military to approach him, because it was being filmed at the same time, Space Oddity, as the Apollo program. So they were sort of using the same stuff for the same movie. And because a lot of this apparently was recorded in a studio in South London, out in Pinewood Way, Elstree Way, Elstree Studios. So, which I believe is true. And there's evidence that Kubrick was with Clark, Arthur C. Clarke, and members of NASA walking through the studios at the time they put together there. So I think there's definitely him. I definitely think that evidence of him saying that it was him doing it is true. I think it's true.
Didn't he get a lens off NASA to film Barry Lyndon? He filmed like candlelight scenes with NASA lenses because they didn't have technology. I mean, this is something that very much alludes to NASA being on the absolute cutting edge, like Dilly Gill has been pointing out, the guy who's been saying the space shuttle is a zero-G plane. Well, his argument is that NASA are absolutely at the cutting edge of cinematography. They are right there. And to say that Kubrick has gone to them to borrow a low-light lens to film Barry Lyndon suggests strongly that they absolutely are on the cutting edge of cinematography.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, the first cuts of 2001 was in 1968, and they were filmed on 70 millimeter prints, which are it's pretty big. It's kind of like IMAX. IMAX maybe even goes bigger today. That's a big print, like 35 millimeter. You take the little thing out your camera, that's 35. You double that up. They had 75 with no sound on the sides or something like that. So I had to sync the sound, but what they did with the credits at the end of that movie, at the first showings of that movie, 2001, they had all the NASA scientists that were on there. They had them all on the list, and they told them to take them out of there. So all the other prints that came out after that first print, they only left one guy, and he passed away not too long ago. It's like Edward Cartwright III or something like that. He was called a scientific consultant. He wasn't called a NASA scientist or whatever. They just left him on there. He did work for NASA, but then, all the other guys that he worked with, they were all taken off the end credits of that movie, which is, they didn't want to tell them, bluntly, 1 year later, they released 68, and 1 year later, we're going to the moon. Like, wow, coincidence. Hello. Over.
Can I just say we've got Mark Sargent in the chat room, and he wants to be a moderator because we're having a little bit of trouble in there.
Nope. Hi, Mark.
So I'm adding him to help take the trolls away. Hello, Mark.
Oh, no, it's fake Mark Sargent.
Yeah.
We thought that at first, and we banned him or timed him out, so we had to fix that. We apologize if that happens to anybody. We'll rectify the situation. So sorry about that.
So I'm really sorry, chat room. It is on slow mode. Billy's seen it last night or the other night. We had a hangout. Billy saw it's on slow mode. Anyway, we just carry on. We're having a really nice time, and hopefully everybody just ignore those.
Yeah, slow mode's great. You just stick it on for 3 seconds, and then it doesn't actually interfere with the flow of anyone else's conversation because it takes more than 3 seconds to type out half a sentence. So 3 seconds slow mode just stops people going 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 in your chat, but doesn't interrupt.
Oh, right. Well, it is set a tiny bit faster than that, but it is on slow mode. Okay, well, after today, I'll go and change the speed again. 100%. It's so fast.
That's just what I do. I'm just saying that's what I do just to
I might go back and have a look, but I can't do it now. But it is on slow mode. Anyway, sorry, Eric. What were you just saying? I missed the end of that because Mark asked to be a wrench. Oh, he's not a wrench. Or is...
I was just confirming that NASA
Carry on.
and Kubrick, they have a long history of working together. I mean, that the Nathan. Sorry, I can't remember the name.
Martin
Mentioned
or
Martin. Nathan mentioned the lens, which is a f1.6 or 1.4, which is really really high light fisheye lens that he used in 2001, and he used it also in what's the other one's called there, Barry Lyndon, which is lit only with candlelight. But they worked together for a long time, and Dr. Strangelove was one of the first. It wasn't JFK that. I've heard that he had a conversation that he Kubrick spoke with JFK at one point.
Yeah?
I've heard that they had a secret kind of meeting. We need to get, I'm going to announce we're going to the moon. We need someone who's capable of, convincing a mass of people.
Early on, well, pre-63, obviously. So, 62 or something. So, Kubrick was making, what film was his first film? Was that First World War film with
Kiss,
Kirk Douglas?
Kiss.
Well,
Spartacus was a bit early.
Article. Sorry to interrupt you. I might as well as I've brought it up. So Kubrick's f/.7 lens now available for rent, but start saving up. And the article goes on. Legendary filmmaker Stanley Kubrick pushed the boundaries of movie making in many ways and was responsible for some of the most enduring visuals in cinema. When making Barry Lyndon in 1975, Kubrick shot two ultra-rare Carl Zeiss primes, which had been originally created for NASA for use with the Apollo space program, but were modified for Kubrick to use with a Mitchell BNC camera, blah, 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 blah. And then, I don't know if you can see that. If I hold it up on the iPad, probably won't be a great picture.
Yeah, that thing is huge. For
there you go. That's a picture of the lens anyway, just so you can see it. Hopefully,
that's
quite a good picture. Yeah.
It'd be fun to get your hands on one of those.
Yeah. Like any of them could work in a vacuum anyway. The one that they wear on their chest, actually on the moon, apparently, the casing's plastic. And aluminium. Check it out. So I dug into them. They would not survive if the circumstances of a hot day in the sun. Never mind the zero of gravity and the intense heat and the intense cold on everything else at the same time. It's just ridiculous. Them cameras are a bit of a giveaway in space. I gotta be honest. There, dig into them. They're crap.
Yeah. Radiation. Yeah, radiation.
Euros, €750 a day to rent that lens.
What?
A day.
Good God,
it's insane.
Why is Lindemann that good at film?
The camera, the Hasselblads that they used were shooting with the 70mm Ektachrome, Kodak Ektachrome, and even slight temperatures, you go past like 80 degrees, you're gonna even see it's like fading. It's like the image gets kind of faded out, but if you're even near any kind of radiation or anything like that, your image is kaput. It's not there. So how they got these perfect in focus images and beyond me. That's beyond.
Yeah, if you look at the footage of when they cleared out in Chernobyl, if that is a reality, you can see when they go in and they got the cameras can barely get a visual. There's just like particles splattering the screen, and it's just buzzing out. They can't get a picture in that sort of radiation. So no, they couldn't do it. It's all rubbish. I don't know. Anyway, that's just like picking on NASA.
Yeah, because you definitely know that's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just part of your
I just think it's embarrassing now. Embarrassing.
They needed it anyway. They needed it for the slingshot. The slingshot, infused their gravity myth. They're outstanding in gravity.
I don't mean to sort of put anybody down or say anything out of thing, but you only realise how bad it is when you actually go and watch some of the footages. I mean, I've got paused astronauts. We've got them touching material. You know, it's like paper.
Swearing.
You've got them torches, extra torches. You've got scuba men coming in. You've got flippers in there. You've got noises, water noises, engine noises.
Garrett, right?
Just
They reckon it costs $30,000 a pound in weight to take something to space. So $30,000 a pound, right, to take it to space. Yet they'll spend that money to take like a guitar up there, or a gorilla suit, or some shit.
Yeah.
You get them wearing. At one stage, they wore the winners of some American football tournament, and the three of them had the shirts on. So how could they have known? Are they all psychic, or did they have three of every single uniform in that league? But they were there wearing them with the winning shirts. Hey, we got the winning shirts on. Nobody in the public worked out how the hell could they have had them up there? You know, it's just $30,000 pound in weight to get it up there. Yeah, they're taking apparent rubbish up. It just doesn't ring true, none of it, does it? Imagine if they actually were up there and they could just take an iPhone with them and say, look guys, I'm streaming live. I'm in space, check out the ball. Rocks, doesn't it? I'm never gonna do it. Why can't they just do a selfie? Don't these work up there? Can they go and go, hey guys? Never gonna happen.
With some dude on Earth with a laser or something pointing up to them in a live stream. Look at this. Hey, it's happening right now. Right now. No.
But the icing on the cake is the one with where he's singing the David Bowie song. You got the astronaut flying through the space station singing David Bowie. Yeah, it blows my mind. Entertainment, yeah.
I think they should have stayed with NACA. They should have stayed with the original NACA before. Yeah.
Don't you think it's really weird when they get them standing like on the top of actually on the top of the ISS, and they're not really holding on with one hand, and they're not even floating, nothing like that, and yet below them fell off and it snapped.
No, but not that, Karen. You know, that thing's falling at 17,500 miles an hour, and they apparently step out, and they would go back, wouldn't they? They'd be gone. It'd be like a bullet. But apparently, they just step out and they stay up, and they fall at 17,500 miles an hour alongside. You can see where I'm coming from. It's just impossible. It's insanity.
Things are floating around. You've only got to look when they go in their bag, and it's all floating around really weirdly, and yet they're supposed to be going, that's floating, yet they're supposed to be going, and yet nothing's moving.
Just out of curiosity, talking about space and rockets, what did you guys think about the Go Fast rocket that caught the moon at 73 miles, and it was just a pinpoint small object? What's your thoughts on that?
Just a little black dot, isn't it? And somebody tried to say it was a satellite, but in reality,
a little tiny dot. Yeah.
Actually, up on the 2 o'clock, say about 2 o'clock position. But you know, somebody done the math, and if there were like 30,000 or 26,000 satellites up there, like they postulate, then there would be no less than 300 satellites an hour passing in front of a full moon, and we don't see any. So that is just something else. Probably them. Interdimensional, who knows? But it's not a bloody spaceship or a satellite. You need the geosynchronicity of orbit for things to actually fall away from this ball to actually be up there. Otherwise, they would need some sort of an engine to keep them moving in momentum. So there's nothing up there unless it's powered, and it's quite high up. So that's what's going on. Balloons, quite high up, powered. Drones, the drone technology is taken right off now. They're using them as well. And that is it. That is it. Higher planes, obviously.
What I found most interesting about that Go Fast launch was that when I looked at the moon calc, in theory, then the moon should have been on the other side of the supposed globe, right? But it was actually caught at 7 o'clock in the morning in Texas at 73 miles, clear as day. Well, there's the moon, a nice glowing orange moon in broad daylight, right? And I mean, how do you argue with that, right? There it is.
What do they see? Exactly.
If I can just add something, I actually just Googled how they get all the equipment up there. They actually use a production company called The Fourth Wall Are Us.
Really?
The Fourth Wall, there you go.
Wow.
Are Us. It's actually it's a sister company of Toys R Us. and that's how they get it up there. So they can literally order and they get it in 4.5 hours. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. To shut.
Wow. And the cold fourth wall.
Yeah, the fourth wall.
Oh man, that's just screaming at us. That is terrible. They actually create the fourth wall.
It's all done. It's all done.
Can I add something as well? Can I add something? I put a video out the other day, guys, about the stars. I'd seen it before with series, and I think D, night footages, but this one you can see stars below the camera, and the balloon's about 17 miles up, which is, I don't know, 27 kilometers or something. Stars below the camera, and the stars, the way the camera pans around and pans back, the camera's going right past these stars because they're there, hundreds of miles away. I think that's why I got a comment from one of my latest subs is John Hutchinson. Do you know who he is?
Oh man, that's awesome.
Do you know who John Hutchinson is?
I know so many people. Can you enlighten me? I know the name.
Well, have you heard of the Hutchinson effect?
Yes, of course I know John Hutchinson. I don't know personally, but know of course the Hutchinson effect. Yes,
He's following Sun and Moon.
Good God, he's not still kicking around, is he?
Yeah, he subbed to me yesterday.
Like now, it was back in the 80s, that was, wasn't it? Yeah, I know. He had a bit of stick, that poor man, for the Hutchinson effect to try to say.
I'm so pleased for Ceres and Chris.
What, you got a chance of getting him on the group to talk to him, do you reckon?
Him, and he said he doesn't do that stuff anymore.
No, I'm not surprised. You know, because there's not many people in this sort of arena that wouldn't know of the Hutchinson effect. He's big news, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he got a lot of trouble, didn't he, back in the, when it happened. I'm not sure the exact story, but I know he went off grid and just, like you said, he just wanted anything to do with this sort of thing. I know that. Yeah, interesting. That'd be cool. Wow.
But he's supporting. He said he supported them. So that's just amazing.
Maybe a little like a written interview or something. Maybe be up for something like that.
Recorded just his
I'd love
voice.
to read it.
He does he says that he's following us, so maybe he'll get to watch this and to me, because I did write something on my post today. He's not on Facebook. Friend of his.
Interesting.
I'm just so pleased. He's a scientist, isn't he?
Yeah. No, that'd be amazing if you could talk to that man.
He's pushed in the background anyway, isn't he? Because of what he knows and because of what he's done, he's pushed in the background anyway.
Yeah, what he doesn't know about harmonics, I bet he could tell us a few things. I bet he'd know how Coral Castle was built. I bet he'd know it all. You know, about the one that they're showing recently come out of a lab in France, only about 2-3 months ago, where they floated this frog using Hutchinson technology. Right? And it's not a screaming noise like it used to be now. It's just a quiet resonance. And there's the frog floating away on top of this steel dish. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's on Google, YouTube. You can look at it, floating frog. It's in some French laboratory in Paris. Really, really cool. A few months back. So they're still using these. It's still out there, Hutchinson effect. I'm sure NASA would use it. It can't be denied that it's a real phenomenon. You know, floating objects through altering their frequency through vibration. Tesla was into it, wasn't he? He had that earthquake machine, didn't he? Where he would affect vibration. Apparently, the council or the government went to his house and said, "You're gonna have to knock that machine off." People are complaining for like 20 blocks either way of tremors, and they know it's you. So he invented an earthquake machine just by turning a little tiny knob, a little tiny bit, and causing that much disturbance. It's incredible, isn't it? What we don't know. Would be nice if we could find out, though. This is out there.
Did the France experiment? Did they talk about Eugene Burt?
I'm gonna find it now for you.
Eugene Burt did back in the late 90s or mid 90s, did some work on diamagnetic levitation and paramagnetic, And I was wondering if it's like an extension of that, or if it's totally other on a frequency. The diamagnetic levitation is, you can do that, those water effects that they do on the ISS. But I was wondering if this France thing, is that Harmony based, or I don't know. Sounds interesting.
I was in a university, some students did it. Yeah, there it is. It's actually Netherlands, British, Dutch scientists make frog float in midair. So I'll give you it now in the inside chat box, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I did a lot of research into dielectrics and diamagnetics and harmonic resonance. So you get the scalar waves and like a standing wave, and you can levitate, bubbles of water in a scalar wave using a diamagnetic field if you get it tuned just right. And I think that's probably why John's following some of us, because we've done a lot of talking about that, and even the fish falling from the sky is because they're sucked out of the water because there's salt in the fish, and the salt in the fish is a dielectric, right? You don't see it happening with freshwater fish, right? We don't get tides in freshwater lakes. It's only in saltwater oceans that we get tides. So it's definitely the dielectrics that we need to focus on. That's part. It's the other half of the equation that you're not taught in school, right?
The sodium, saline, that kind of, anything with that kind of high, if there's a lot of that in that water or liquid, that's what it'll affect.
Yeah, dielectric catalyst. Yeah, so even our bodies, right? There's a lot of salt in our bodies with the dielectric, and the salt in our eyes not the salt, but the fluid in our eyes is a lot like the amniotic fluid, and it allows light to go in one direction. So light that comes into our eyeballs, and it doesn't scatter everywhere. Otherwise, we'd be blinded by the light. So it allows it to come into one direction. And I think what we would call space, which isn't really space, but it would be a similar type of effect. We see everything from our perspective coming to us as the center. So I was pretty stoked when he started following us. That's a good compliment, I thought.
Jaw dropped on that one.
Yeah.
So would that relate to maybe what's in celestial kind of sodium? I don't know if you guys you guys seen the 4G LSF Chile telescope with the 4 lasers. They concentrate 4 lasers, 90 kilometers up, and what it says in the explanation is that they're activating sodium particles, or sodium, which is basically salty stuff, at 90 kilometers to create stars, they call them, or create light, or be able to focus on certain luminaries, certain stars, and it's the 4GLSF, 4GLFS, or something like that, and it's 20 megawatt 4 lasers that are shooting up there, and they activate the sodium at 90 kilometers, so that might, work with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stars that Karen was seeing were like a triboluminescence, which is a crystal. So if a crystal is under enough pressure, even negative pressure, it would glow right into light. It's like piezoelectricity. You put pressure on the piezoelectric diode, and it just creates electricity spontaneously. And, what works for heat will work with cold. It's the same thing in reverse. If you get something cold enough, it'll glow a different light wave, right?
Guys,
have you looked into? Sorry,
it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for having me. But I'm going to leave you guys to it. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, you
same, yeah. We got
Nathan, it was a pleasure having you on, buddy. And I hope you enjoy your little meetup on Saturday. Say hi to all the people for me.
Yeah,
I'll pass on your regards, Billy.
Before you go, Nathan, I'm coming back because we have to have a hug.
Right.
Flat Earth hug.
Okay, let me turn my camera on.
Really love you.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a new phenomenon. It's catching on.
Big flat Earth hug.
Nice to chat in person, Nathan. You take care. Nice to chat in person.
Are we all
That's a
there?
joke.
Thanks again, guys. See
Wait
you.
a minute, you did. What do you want to say quickly?
Take care, buddy.
Yes, I would like to say something before someone go.
Okay, you did.
Yes. Okay. Series give me this word, and for me, this is a big flag to everyone who listen to us, and to everybody, to all the beautiful parliament right now. So the we is true, is true, the we indeed, as the I am can only be with the we. Without the we, the I am is not worth to be.
I know it.
In this way, I mean that I doesn't exist, only we exist. Correct, series?
Yeah.
And we build the Buddha, we all the knowledge that exists now together, we build the Buddha. Is correct, series?
We are
Yeah.
ready. We just don't know it yet.
That was very nice, Judith.
Thank you,
That was very
Judith.
nice, Judith.
So we're going to have this hug now. Judith, come back. This is
Nothing
the
but
longest hug ever. We've lost her now. Should we have our hug then? Because Nathan wants to go. Yeah.
I got to be up really early. I got no choice, and I was up at 6 o'clock this morning. I've been in a courthouse all morning. My head is shot to pieces about to deal with the Babylon, and it was absolute hell. I couldn't stand any second of it. I had to go with a friend as a supporter, you know, because I'm like that sort of person. So I had to go into the mouth of the beast, I'm afraid. So my head's gone with it all. I got to get to sleep.
Peace and love, flat of British.
Flat of British. This has been Martin speaking.
See you later, guys. Thanks for having me. Big
love.
hugs.
See you
Cheers.
Saturday.
Yep, big hugs.
See you Saturday. Big hugs.
So
Yay.
well.
Yeah, have fun Saturday.